All right, today we're diving into one of the most profound and, let's be honest, one of the most challenging books in all of Scripture, the Book of Job. It tackles a question that has haunted humanity forever, a question every single one of us has asked at some point.
And there it is, the big one. So simple to ask, but so incredibly difficult to answer. Why do good people, people who are really trying to do everything right, have to face so much pain, loss, and injustice? Now, the Book of Job doesn't give us a simple, neat formula, but what it does offer is some deep, truly transformative wisdom. So, to get to the heart of the book's message, we first have to understand the man himself, Job, and the incredible cosmic drama that's about to unfold around him.
I mean, the text goes out of its way to establish just how good this guy is. He's called blameless and upright. This is absolutely crucial to the whole story. His suffering is explicitly not a punishment for sin. And what's really interesting, he isn't even an Israelite. Right from the get-go, that tells us that the themes here, suffering, faith, wrestling with God, they're universal. They speak to all of us.
So, right out of the gate, the book forces us to confront this incredibly difficult truth. It just shatters that simple, almost fairy tale-like idea that if you're a good person, good things will happen to you. And if you suffer, well, you must have done something to deserve it. Job says, nope, it's not that simple. And then the book pulls back the curtain. We get this glimpse into the heavenly court, a conversation between God and an accuser figure, Satan. And look, this isn't about God being caught off guard or making a bet. It's showing us that God is always sovereign. It's a reminder that our struggles here on earth often have these unseen spiritual dimensions. We're part of a much bigger story where faith is tested, proven, and refined. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Job has lost his business, his employees, and all 10 of his children in a single day. And this is his response. It's an absolutely staggering declaration of faith. Not faith in his circumstances, but faith in the God who is Lord over everything. But of course, Job's trial is far from over. After he's struck with a horrific illness, his friends show up. And what starts out as comfort, well, it quickly turns into condemnation.
So, Job's friends, they operate on this very tidy little formula. Theologians call it retribution theology. Basically, God is just, so if you're suffering, you must have sinned. Simple as that. They just keep insisting that Job must be hiding some secret wickedness. But what does God himself say about their logic? At the very end of the book, he rebukes them directly, saying, "You have not spoken rightly of me." Their theology was neat and clean, but it was dead wrong.
And this is such a powerful warning for us, isn't it? The mistake Job's friends made is timeless. We're being warned not to throw easy, pious-sounding answers at people in pain. Sometimes, the worst thing you can do is try to explain away someone's suffering with this simple formula. What they really need is just our presence, our compassion.
As the pain gets worse and the accusations from his friends just keep coming, Job stops blessing and starts questioning. He cries out in total anguish, and this is really the emotional heart of the whole book.
Job demands to know why. He's screaming into the silence, asking where God is in all this. And this isn't him losing his faith. Absolutely not. It's a sign of a real, living, wrestling faith that refuses to let go of God, even when God feels a million miles away. The Bible, especially the Psalms, is filled with this kind of raw, honest prayer we call lament.
In fact, Job's cry of abandonment finds its most powerful echo, its ultimate echo, in Jesus' own cry from the cross. According to Catholic theology, when we cry out to God in our suffering, we're not failing in our faith, we are actually imitating Christ. So after 37 chapters of human debate, of back and forth, God finally speaks. He answers from a whirlwind. But the answer he gives, it's not at all what Job, or any of us, was expecting.
See, God doesn't just hand Job a list of reasons why he suffered. Nope. Instead, he flips the script and starts asking Job a whole series of mind-blowing questions about the universe. The point is basically this: if you can't even begin to grasp the mysteries of my creation, how could you possibly expect to understand the mysterious ways I govern it all? It's an invitation into a deeper sense of humility and trust.
God takes Job on this epic virtual tour of creation, from laying the foundations of the earth to steering the constellations in the sky. So is God just changing the subject? Dismissing Job's pain? Not at all. He's expanding Job's perspective, reminding him that the universe is run by a wisdom so vast, so complex, that our little human minds just can't possibly wrap themselves around it all. Okay, so if the answer isn't a simple why, then what are we supposed to take away from all this? Well, the end of the book and the broader Catholic understanding of suffering shows us that it can have a purpose, a truly transformative one.
The takeaway is this: suffering, as mysterious as it is not meaningless. It can actually be this purifying fire. It shows us what our faith is really made of. It can grow in us a deeper compassion for others, and it reminds us powerfully that our story isn't over yet. God is in control, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. And this is exactly what we see happen with Job. Yeah, he gets his health and his wealth back, but that's almost beside the point. It's a symbol of the real restoration that happened on the inside. He comes out of this ordeal with a faith that's no longer based on rules or what he's heard, but on a direct personal encounter with the living God. This is why Job's story isn't just some ancient tale. It speaks right into our lives, right now. Whether you're dealing with mental health challenges, a chronic illness, financial stress, or just that awful feeling of spiritual dryness where your prayers seem to hit the ceiling, Job's story tells you that you are seen. Your suffering is not invisible to God. And that really brings us to maybe the most powerful and maybe counterintuitive truth in the whole book. Prosperity can sometimes make us comfortable, maybe even a little spiritually lazy, but it's in the fire, in the silence, in the waiting. That's where God often does his deepest work in us. Your story, just like Job's, has a purpose and a redemption that you may not be able to see just yet.